Hare Krishna. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana-Salakaya Chakshurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Shyam Rupadamayyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shivatapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuitam Savadutam Pajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Narita Shri Vishakamatamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pesha Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamriti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pshane Nirvishisha Shundvadi Pasadestane वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महाभद्रनाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरसे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपसगोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते सप्तकांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विष्णुभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलचन्द्रमासाय नित्य परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय च नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण. So group number 3, Sumechatanpu is supposed to present here.
Prabhu, actually, we are just waiting for Krishnanga Mataji to join. Just 1 minute, I'm calling.
I'll make you co-host maybe. So give me a minute. Maybe now you can present, Sumachatan.
Prabhu, I'm just waiting for Krishnanga Mataji to join.
Okay. If it's going to take time, then what we can do is...
So Medha Prabhuji, you start, otherwise I will try to call Mataji.
You're muted now, Sumichatan.
That will just take 1 minute. Okay, I will do that. So actually, for our group, the theme was the killing of Shaktasur and the killing of Trinavart. So I was just looking for some paintings and everything over internet to get something. So I found out this traditional Pattachitra painting of the killing of Shaktasur. So Shaktasur was basically the cart demon, and this is not completely as per the description of Anand Vrindavan Champu, but this is a traditional Pattachitra painting, which is the art of Odisha, Ram Raghavpur. Ram Raghavpur is a place near Jagannath Puri, so that is the traditional art of Pattachitra. So here we can see Krishna is there, this demon is there, this cart. He had come in the form of the cart, and Krishna, just by his toes, he kicked it and killed the cart when he was just three months old. And in Anand Vrindavan Champu, it's written that there were a lot of pots. There were a lot of pots in the cart which fell down. So even in this Pattachitra, we can see that a lot of pots have fallen down. So this is the painting which we found out. Now actually, Rukmini Mataji and Krishnanga Mataji, they will be presenting they will be they will be presenting a skit on these two pastimes. So this actually, in the playful and divine land of Gokul, where the breeze carries the laughter of little Krishna, miracles unfold in the most unexpected ways. For Mother Yashoda, Krishna Krishna is her little tender mischievous child, soft as butter. But for most of the Vrijavasis, he is like the protector and destroyer of the evil. So today's skit brings alive two astonishing incidents from Krishna's childhood: the fall of the mighty cart demon Shaktasur and the defeat of the whirlwind demon Trinavar. How we have done is that through a heartfelt conversation between Mother Yashoda and an elderly gopi, we will witness the beautiful contrast between a mother's concern and the hidden divinity of her child. What seems like fear and helplessness to Yashoda is in truth the quiet play of divine power. So let us step into this world of love, wonder, and miracles. Rukmani Mataji and Krishnanga Mataji, both will they
Yes.
can be pinned actually. So I will just pin Rukmani Mataji and Krishna. So, and just one more thing before we start. So, today, like Anand Kaur Sundar Prabhu had mentioned, that today we will be having the Damodar Leela. So, very slight reference will be there to Damodar Leela also in the conversation. So, yes, Mataji, both can take up.
Oh, Sakhi, my breath still catches. First, that massive wooden cart, shattered like a fragile clay pot. And now, this cruel whirlwind? My Gopal's limbs are softer than fresh butter and more delicate than lotus petals. How can he survive these mountain like calamities?
My dear Yashoda, don't let fear cloud your eyes. Remember the Saptasura cart? That demon was a dark cloud of sin hiding in wood. But our Gopal's feet are like red lotuses. When those tender toes just touched the wheel, they acted like Indra's thunderbolt, scattering the demon's life years into the winds.
But Sakhi, the cart was packed with heavy brass pots. The Brahmanas who were chanting the hymns for the baby crawling feast said only a ghost could have flipped such a weight. How could my delicate baby boy, who was just crying for a drop of milk, turn a giant wagon, massive wagon, into a heap of splinters?
Oh Bhagwati, Gopal was simply dancing in his hunger. That kick wasn't an attack. It was a playful movement of a thirsty child, though it may have looked like a crash to us. Do not lament. Goddess of fortune herself is guiding your home.
And what of today? That Trinavarta demon turned the bright Vraja sun into midnight of dust. He snatched my baby and carried him into the clouds. I felt like a helpless cow who had lost her calf to a hawk in a dark, thorny forest.
Dear Yashoda, listen to the miracle. That demon thought he was carrying a small child, but suddenly our Lalla, our little Kahana, became as heavy as Mount Meru. The whirlwind, which can uproot giant trees, choked because could not lift the great weight, our little Kahana, whom we lift like a cotton ball.
But Sakhi, when the dust settled, I saw that monster lying shattered on the rocks, his limbs broken like a mountain peak struck by a bolt of lightning, and my little Lala was just sitting there, smiling. How could his tiny soft hands hold such a big fall?
Our Gopal's small hands, which are softer than silk, became like a tight noose of death around the demon's neck. I think that the demon must have tried to drop Krishna, but he must have held on tight, choking the life out of him. He didn't just fall, he was dragged down by the irresistible weight of our Lala's glory.
Oh, my Lala, my heart is still not at peace, Sakhi. I see these monsters, and then I see my helpless, dusty baby. I must go and offer more butter to my family deity and have the Brahmana chant all the Rakshasa mantras to protect him from these evil eyes.
Oh, Yashoda, you see a helpless baby, but the world sees the lion of the Yadu dynasty. Just go, wash the dust of the whirlwind from the curly hair. Remember, your motherly love is the only rope that actually bind him. Hare Krishna.
Gopal, Gopal, Hare Krishna.
So this was our presentation. So in our team, like myself, Krishnanga Mataji, Rukmani Mataji, Kaustubh Pro, and Sundaranand Pro, 5 of us were there. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hari
you,
Bol.
thank you. Hari Hari. Who wrote the script?
Sumedha Prabhu.
Sumedha Prabhu wrote it.
Beautiful, actually. So I
Yeah.
like
Yes,
the
Prabhu,
way
and he
the
was very
conversation was
sick.
going both the sides.
Yeah.
And he was so sick this week. I don't know how he was able to do such a great job. Amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful. So beautiful job. We'd like to thank this group heartily by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So entire both the passions were presented through a medium of conversation. Beautiful. Hare. So now we'll continue further with the most popular Leela of Vasalras. So according to us, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Madhuras is considered the highest and the Ras Leela is considered the highest among all the Leelas of Madhuras. And according to those in Pushti Margis, those are Pushti Margis. So for them, highest ras is considered as Vatsal ras. Highest devotee is called Mother Yashoda. For us, it is Radharani. And for them, the highest pastime is this pastime of Damodar Leela. So this, so we'll discuss about Mother Leela. We'll discuss about this Damodar Leela. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So Mother Yashoda was continuously hearing how Krishna was going to the houses of the different gopis and stealing butter. So because of that, she thought, let Krishna do some beautiful lila like that in our home also. So that desire was there within her. At the same time, she was very concerned also that maybe he's not getting good quality butter in our house, and that is why he's stealing butter here and there. So according to our acharyas, there were some cows who were called Padmagandha cows. So these Padmagandha cows, their milk would fragrate like lotus. And Mother Yashoda used that milk to churn the butter. So in this way, Mother Yashoda was tactfully engaged. He tactfully engaged all the other gopis somewhere else, and now she wanted to show her expertise in preparing butter. So then, with her own hands, which appeared as soft and elegant as lotus flowers, Yashoda was churning butter for her beloved Kanhaiya. So, the way she was using her arms to pull the ropes, it would put even lotus stems to shame. They were looking so beautiful. So, very rhythmically, she was pulling her ropes back and forth. And the jingling of her emerald studded bangles were looking like bells on the feet of a dancer. And some acharyas say that they were looking like kartal, the way we play kartal. And the sound which was made in the uh, pot was looking like the sound of a mridangam. So if you hear it, really looks like mridangam only when the butter is churned. So it was looking like one devotee playing the entire Sankirtan. Mridangam was played, kartal was played, and she was singing Krishna's songs, how Krishna was performing different leelas. And while she was churning the butter, Yashoda's hair were loosened and she became wet because of exertion. And then she was looking like, as if her hairs were looking like the open tail of jubilant peacock. They were like looking so wide. So when her hair braid untied, the jewels, flowers, peacock feathers who were decorating her hairs fell down. You can see that in the painting also. They're fallen down. So as shooting stars beautify the dense darkness of the night, similarly, these falling items were increasing the beauty of the earth. The necklace on her chest was swinging back and forth. Uh, and in this way, the shining effulgence coming from her jeweled earrings were looking like constant flow of nectar. So like we see some effulgence, it comes out. It was looking like a flow of nectar. And in this way, bathed in the sweet mellow of material affection, Yasoda's neck and shoulders were looking very beautiful as she was like churning the uh, butter. And her belt on her waist was looking extremely captivating. The radiant gems and tinkling bells on her belt was increasing the elegance of the belt even further. And in this way, being drenched in the perspiration from her hard work, her body was looking very, very delightful. And she was looking so beautiful that it would defeat even the swarm of intoxicated bees buzzing over the lotus flowers. So that looks very beautiful, but Mother Yashoda was looking even more beautiful. And suddenly, a sound like that of a roaring of ocean rose from the butter pot of Mother Yashoda. And drops of yogurt were spilling out of the pot and falling on the border of her sari, which was making the scene even more beautiful, more attractive. In this way, Yashoda was passing the time remembering Krishna, recalling his enchanting eyes whenever he was caught stealing butter. And suddenly, Krishna came at that time. He appeared. And he proudly said to Mother Yashoda, Maya, you know that I'm expert at stealing. And then he said, but currently, you know that I'm feeling very hungry. So please feed me milk. So he wanted breast milk of Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda was concerned because that was the day of Diwali. And she had to like prepare butter for Krishna. And then Krishna threatened Mother Yashoda. He said, either you stop to feed me or I'll break your churning pot. And suddenly, Krishna caught the churning rod and looked at Mother Yashoda. And Yashoda also stopped. She kept Krishna on her lap and she began to happily feed Krishna. And while Krishna was drinking milk, his loosely hanging curly black hairs were looking so beautiful that they won the heart of Mother Yashoda with uh, his gentle nature. So Acharyas, they remember the scene and they spoke a verse. Ankadirudam sisugopagudam stanam dhayantam kamalekkantam sambodhayamase mudaya soda govinda damodara madhaviti Ankadirudam susugopagudam. Uh, so he was sitting on the lap of Mother Yashoda. Sisu Gopagudam, he was looking, he's very complex. He smiles and it may mean something else. Stanam Dhayantam, he was concentrating on the breast of Mother Yashoda. Kamaleke Kantam, and he has effulgence like lotus. Sambodayama Samuda Yashoda, and seeing that Mother Yashoda was stunned with bliss. Govinda Damodar Madhaviti. And then Krishna was like drinking milk of Mother Yashoda. And how much can Krishna drink? He can drink unlimited milk. Because it was emblem of love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna. How much can love does Mother Yashoda has for Krishna? That is also unlimited, which was also coming in the form of that milk. So Krishna was drinking milk, Mother Yashoda was giving milk. And there was a constant competition of how much can Krishna accept the love of his devotee and how much love can devotee give to Krishna. But then suddenly some drops of milk appeared in the mouth of Krishna. And all the demigods praised Mother Yashoda. That means Mother Yashoda gave so much love to Krishna that Krishna was not able to receive. And that's why some milk overflew. And then all the demigods praised Mother Yashoda for uh, her love. But then because things in Vrindavan are alive, so milk was which was there on the pot, kept in the stove, started feeling that if Yashoda keeps on giving that uh, milk to Krishna, we have no use in life. So they thought of committing suicide. So the milk spilled over the fire. And this was milk was not ordinary milk, it was also this milk was milk of Padmagandha cows. So fearing that milk will be spoiled, Yashoda kept her son there and she ran to the kitchen. And this deeply pierced Krishna's heart. Krishna was not happy. Krishna was not happy with this particular gesture. Prabhupada writes that it happens with the devotees also. Sometimes devotees have more than one services. So then they have to give preference to one service and avoid other service. But then one has to use his intelligence. So Krishna didn't like it. This example also given in NOD. You can see in NOD. This example is given by our acharyas to explain that how Mother Yashoda had a desire to please Krishna, but that made Krishna angry. So is it not pure devotion service? It is pure devotion service. Because ultimately her intent was to please Krishna. That's why she left Krishna there and ran to save the milk. But then we can see the next slide. Krishna became angry. Krishna became angry. So he picked up a rock and he broke the butter pot. and the churned butter flowed in all the directions across the floor, which is visible here. So, in a fearful yet playful mood, Krishna ran through the butter and round from room to room, engaging in more mischief. So, he was going to different places and taking butter from here, taking butter from there. And then finally, he entered in the milk storeroom. And there, quickly, Krishna ate some amount of freshly churned butter from various pots. Little butter from here and there. And in this way, he was fully satisfied and he gave up his anger. Uh, and then Krishna, who is worshipped by the demigods, he snatched a pot of butter and ran into the courtroom. So while standing on the grinding mortar in the courtyard and anxiously looking around for his mother, Krishna now now he was satisfied. Now he started feeding the gopas there. And after the gopas were fed, he started offering them to the monkeys and even the crows. And by this time, Yasoda, she took the boiling milk off the stove and she returned to Krishna. So she thought, maybe I kept Krishna down. Krishna must be very unhappy. She thought, I'll embrace Krishna and console him. But then she didn't find Krishna there. So she felt very morose. And in that mood of lamentation, she was frantically searching for Krishna here and there. But when she saw, my God, these broken pots are there, streams of yogurt is there here and there. It made the entire floor very slippery and white in color. She understood. Maybe Krishna, out of anger, has smashed these clay pots and now strewn into hundreds of pieces. And then she thought, alas, what has happened? Huh? Why this yogurt pot broken here? So initially she was not able to understand, but when she saw one rock there, she understood this Krishna has done these things. So then Yasoda was touching her nose with the tip of her index finger, and she was thinking, oh, what has happened? And then she thought, how could my child show such an impudence? So I tried to patiently train him properly, but how is he behaving so horribly? And this is not ordinary butter. It's like these Padmagandha cows were specially maintained, and then the milk was brought, and then the butter was churned, and it was ultimately for Krishna's pleasure only. And what did he do? He spilled the entire butter here and there. So of course there are no impurities in the heart of Mother Yasoda, but because of her motherly pride, she became angry and she thought, the glories of my son's transcendental pastimes are unlimited, and his actions increase pride and pleasure, and which are like festivals for everyone. And he derives lot of joy in his stealing pastimes. But then I have to teach him a lesson today. It's not a gentlemanly person's performance to steal butter. So she went to she went searching for Krishna because she just was following the butterly footprints of Krishna, small footprints. And when she saw Krishna standing on the grinding mortar, suddenly all the monkeys ran here and there. Kee, they just spread everywhere. All the crows fell away. No, they just flew away from there. Krishna could understand immediately that Yashoda has come. And as soon as he understood that Yashoda has come, he jumped from the grinding mortar and in fear, he started running away. Uh, yeah, there's another slide, how he's running away. And as soon as Yashoda saw Krishna coming out of the house and jumping away in fear, she understood the human-like nature of her son. So then she started calling Krishna, "Stop running, stop. You are foremost cheater of the world." Uh, and Krishna said, "I am not a cheater." So that you are a cheater. Uh, so Krishna was like running. At the same time, he was looking back while running away and looking at Mother Yashoda. And Yashoda was feeling very fatigued and mentally distressed. So her body, arms, legs, they were looking very beautiful. And she was perspiring like anything. So, full of pride and anger, Yashoda started shouting, "Stop, you thief, you liar. How can you carry on like this? And what are you doing? Just stop running." So, you are like a monkey, your friends are like monkey, and you are always surrounded by monkey. So, you are doing work like a monkey. And then Krishna looked at Yashoda and said, "I am not a monkey. And even if you say that I'm a monkey, there's no problem from my father's side. There is a problem from my mother's side. That's why I became a monkey. So there's no problem from my father's side." So then Yashoda said that, "Today you just stop, otherwise I'll punish you." Krishna said, "Mother, I'll stop only if you drop that stick. If you don't drop that stick, I'll not stop." And then after seeing that, he stopped at a distance, kept a safe distance, and then he was standing there. And then Yashoda said that if you are so afraid of being punished, then why did you break the pot altogether today? And Krishna, again, in the same way, like a innocent child, he said, "Maya, I will not do it again. Just drop that stick from your hand." And then Yashoda was amazed to see the reaction of Krishna. She approached her son. But seeing her angry, Krishna again ran away. And then he was telling, "Maya, you stop that big stick and don't punish me. And if you do that, I'll come to you. Otherwise, I will not come to you." And when Krishna was appealing in such an innocent way, Yashoda's heart also got melted. And she just dropped the stick. And when Yashoda dropped the stick, Krishna stopped running. And all these denizens of heaven, when they saw that, they were amazed. They thought powerful demigods like Brahma, they live for trillions of years. Uh, and they want to approach Krishna, they are not able to catch Krishna. And they are so fearful of time factor. But they were amazed to see that how the person who makes time factor also fearful, that is Krishna, was becoming fearful of Mother Yashoda. So they were amazed. So they could not fathom that how Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is feared by fear personified, is fearing his mother and that small stick, although he is not fearful of any weapons of the world. But by this time, the fine hairs of Mother Yashoda were filled with perspiration and she was breathing very heavily. So her hairs were loose, her face appeared very exhausted, and this time she caught Krishna. And then Krishna began to speak and plead to Mother Yashoda, "Maya, don't beat me." And then he started like rubbing his eyes, tears started falling from his eyes. Uh, he was rubbing his eyes with uh, fingers which were looking like petals of a lotus flower. And then even his voice became very indistinct. It was not very clear. So those words were looking like full of nectar falling from the moon. So in this way, Krishna was looking very fearful and he was crying helplessly. And then Yashoda thought that if I don't bind him, maybe out of fear, he'll run to some deep forest. So then she thought, maybe I'll bind him to the grinding mortar. And then when Krishna saw that I'm not going to get any beatings today, so he was like smiling by this time. Okay, okay. Things are done. Nice patch up. And then Yasoda started ordering his maid servants. O Kurungvati, O Langmangvati, immediately bring some soft silken ropes so that I can bind Krishna. And then Yasoda tried to bind Krishna, who is the well-wisher of entire creation. Because immediately, so many elderly gopis with uh, they gathered at the place. They are saying, now there is a fun. Krishna is going to get bound. So they also brought ropes with them. And then Mother Yasoda, she tried to bind Krishna, but it was like two fingers too short. And then she ordered, and then more ropes were brought, but they were also looking two fingers too short. And then she was wondering, Krishna's waist is so thin. And then how I am not able to uh, bind Krishna? It is looking like as if I am trying to bind Brahma's universe. So in this way, Krishna was displaying his unlimited power through this small leela. So Yaso, all the gopis, they saw it like a wonder. My God, Yasoda is not able to bind Krishna. And then they started speaking to Yasoda. They said, "Oh Yasoda, you are most blessed in the entire creation. So just a minute ago, just some time ago, you bound Krishna's waist with this kinkini belt, the small golden belt, kinkini belt. But now you are not able to bind him with all these ropes in your house. So you have tried with so many number of ropes tied together, but they're always falling two fingers too short. So there is some strange cause behind this phenomena. So don't bind your son today." And Yasoda, she was astonished. Gopis are in my side or his side? And then she told, Gopis, I don't have any more ropes. So whatever ropes are there in the storehouses and your houses also, you bring them, I'll bind Krishna today. He's doing too much of mischief, I'll definitely bind Krishna. And then Yasoda took all these additional ropes and tried to bind Krishna again. And gopis were laughing like anything. It was like a festival of ropes, trying to bind Krishna. So although Krishna's hands are very delicate, his eyes were pained because of rubbing from by his hand. So in choked up voice, uh, Krishna spoke some sweet words that captivated the minds of all. And then he began to cry. And all the cowherd boys near Krishna, they're empathizing with Krishna. Not a good day for you today. You are being bound today. What can be done? And Yasoda's heart was palpitating and she was breathing very heavily. Her hairs were loosened, flowers were falling to the ground. She was perspiring, she was tired, and her labors were also frustrated today. So then Yasoda sat down to rest and figure out how to tie up Krishna today. It is looking so difficult. So she was tired of trying to bind Krishna. And elderly gopis also, they lost all desire to return to their homes. They were just standing there and seeing that fun. and they were looking at Krishna with their unblinking eyes. Now, practically at this time, all the ropes in Vrindavan became fruitless. They were not able to bind the master of the universe. And if you see from Tattva point of view, how can somebody bind bliss, wisdom, power, and consciousness? How can someone bind Krishna who is made of nothing but bliss, wisdom, power, and consciousness? It is not possible. So that person can be bound who has a boundary. But then Krishna has no inside, no outside. He is limitless. He has no beginning and no end. He has infinite power. He is rather totality of everything. So he's completely full, beyond any contamination. So how can Yashoda bind Krishna? And seeing the endeavor of Yashoda, now Krishna thought, let Yashoda bind me. And this proves that one's own sadhana is not enough to get Krishna. Hmm. So one needs Krishna's desire to be pleased. So when Krishna is pleased, then one can be successful in one's endeavor. And then finally, uh, as you see in the next slide, Yasoda became successful. And all her hard work broke fruit. So out of her compassion, she was now able to, out of compassion of Krishna, Krishna allowed himself to be bound. And we have entire Damodarashtakam based on this particular pastime. And Bilva Mangal Thakur also. He has written this particular verse. Yasodaya ganamulukalena gokantapasere vividdamanam rurodamandam navanita bhoji govinda damodara madhaveti. So Yasodaya ganamulukalena. So Yasoda was binding Krishna with his ukhal, grinding mortar. What was he using? Gokantha paser. So the rope which is used to bind the neck of the cows, she was using that. Vividyamanam. Rurodamannam Navneet Bhoji. And he was crying because what he had done, Navneet Bhoji, he had stolen butter. Govinda Damodar Madhaviti. So in this way, extending his mercy, he saved his beloved mother from further anger and frustration and allowed himself to be bound. And then Yasoda was finally successful. And she went to do her work because this was Diwali day. And Yasoda told all the cowherd boys, "You keep a watch at him and see that he doesn't untie himself and runs away. He's very clever." And all the Gopas were like, what can we do? You're bound. Yasoda has bound you. And then Yasoda went with all the elderly gopis to her private chambers. But as soon as Yasoda went away, Krishna stopped crying. No more crying now, because he knew there's no use of crying now. Things are gone. And now his face became very peaceful and he became very effulgent. So, this one pastime I heard from Radha Govind Maharaj. So, he says that, so then Balram also came after some time. And Balram saw Krishna is bound. He was so angry. So, he told, who bound you? He asked Krishna. Krishna said, what to do? Who can bind? Only Yasoda can bind. So, Yasoda bound me. And then Balram went to Yasoda and he said, what did you do today? Yasoda said, what did I do? I bound Krishna. He said, do you know who is Krishna? She said, you tell me. No, who is Krishna? She said, Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. She said, oh, really? And who are you? And he said, I am Balram. I am his first expansion. Yashoda said, oh, all the avatars are supposed to be born in my family only. If you speak more, I'll bound you also along with Krishna. And then Balram said, nothing can be done today. She came to Krishna and he told nothing can be done. And by this time, Krishna thought that although he's bound, but let me free two people. Because they were bound because of the prophecy of Nard Muni. So let me fulfill the prophecy of Nard Muni. So we already read in that Bhagavatam that how there were two demigods, the sons of Kuvera, Nalkubar and Manigrave. So they were intoxicated and they were naked, who were playing with the damsels in Alaknanda. So Alaknanda purifies everyone, but they had no desire to get purified. So when Nad Muni came there, immediately all these ladies, they covered their bodies, but these people were not just intoxicated with intoxicants, they were intoxicated by their pride also. They were thinking, oh, we are sons of wealthy person, so nobody can do anything to us. So they paid no heed to Nad Muni. So Nad Muni became very angry and he cursed them to become trees. And then automatically, whenever somebody gets a curse, intoxication loses its effect as usual. And then they begged forgiveness. And Nad Muni said that in Dwapar Yoga, uh, so you'll become trees, but you will become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And in Dwapar Yoga, when Krishna comes, he will deliver both of you. And in this way, Nalkubar Muni gave first they got qualification to see the pastimes of Krishna. What was that? Curse of Narad Muni. That was the qualification. Because the desire of pure devotee has to be there. Also, the punishment made them very humble. And then they got the great fortune of seeing all the childhood pastimes of Krishna till now. So they were in the form of two great Arjuna trees who had deep roots. So deciding to bestow his mercy upon them, Krishna dragged the grinding mortar which was tied to his belly. So he kept it between the trees. And when he was doing like that, all these gopas who were surrounding Krishna were following him only behind him. They were also they were trying to see what Krishna is doing. And from a distance, when Krishna saw these two trees, he saw that their roots are connected to each other. The way Prakriti and Purusa have one source, that's Purusa only. As Karma Kand and Gyan Kand are separate paths, similarly, trees had two different trunks. As Sam and Yajur Vedas have various divisions, similarly, these trees had many, many branches. As a great king has qualities of valor and achievement, or as a mountain range possesses steadiness, or a cluster of cloud is ridden with showers of water drops. Similarly, these two trees displayed abundance of natural opulence. So demigods embodied in these two trees had become purified. Why? Because they suffered for so many years. So like Dhnoti Samalam Krishna Sarilasya Sarat. Like the clouds in the of the autumn rain, when they shower the rains, the water of the lakes become more pure. They become more pure. Similarly, they become purified by so many sufferings. As the universe is vast and broad, similarly, these trees were stout and strong. Just by looking at these Arjuna trees, people were reminded of these two Arjunas. Pandu Putra Arjuna and Kartavir Arjuna. So Kartavir Arjuna was so powerful that he kept Ravan under his arms. Of course, later on he was delivered by more powerful personality, Parasuram. So like Nakulan said, they were two twins. Similarly, these two trees were also two twins. So seeing Krishna moving towards the huge trees, all the friends started contemplating. They said, I think Kanhaiya cannot tolerate the scorching sunshine. That's why he's going between these trees so that he can take the accept the coolness of the shady trees. So while Gopas were speaking like that, suddenly Krishna pulled the mortar over be- in such a way that the mortar got stuck between the trees. And then one who annihilates all the pretenders, with his curly hair hanging loosely on his shoulders, he thought, let me deliver these trees. So he gave a jerk, and just by his jerk, this huge trees got uprooted. They just got uprooted. You can see it in the next one. Yeah. So they got easily uprooted. So it created a crackling sound which filled the air. And these trees were split open. So as a person pokes a hole in a clay pot, similarly, these broken trees created so much sound that it practically punctured the uh, covering of the universe. This produced such a terrible noise, the way fierce thunderbolts at the time of devastation, pralay, they create sounds. So such a sound was there. But as far as Krishna is concerned, he was calm, joyful, although so much sound was there. And in this way, uh, Krishna, he was smiling and looking at these trees. So he was thinking, although I am bound, I have made these two demigods free now. So I couldn't be freed because I was bound by the love of Mother Yashoda. But I have made these two trees free. So even in the bound condition, Krishna can make others free. So certainly Krishna is pure, but somehow by this time, his character was stained with stealing pastimes. He is called Makhanchor now. So at that time, two effulgent persons emerged from the trees. They are Nalkuvar and Manigriv. So they start offering the prayers to Krishna. So they said, O embodiment of eternity and boundless bliss, you appear more attractive than a cluster of soft, beautiful, dark blue rain cloud. All glories to you, all glories to you. Nobody in this world can understand the mysteries of your transcendental pastimes. So you appeared in this world just to enact these spiritual sports, these pastimes. Uh, So when you appeared, so many mighty demons also appeared. But then you easily exhibit your great power and defeat them in a artistic fashion. So he didn't use, Krishna doesn't use any weapons. He kills them in an artistic way. So even though you are a tender boy, my dear Krishna, you have uprooted these massive Arjuna trees. So in this way, definitely you are one without the second. Krishna is called Asam Urdhava. Nobody is equal to him. Nobody is greater than him. So you pour mercy upon everyone and bestow abundant affection to the fallen. So as a common man enjoys different playful sports, similarly, you also enjoy varieties of rasas in all your pleasant artistic pastimes. My dear Lord, you are truly embodiment of all auspiciousness appearing in Vrindavan to benedict all the Vrajavasis. As the moon, who is the lord of the stars, becomes totally afflicted upon seeing your moon-like face. So moon is very effulgent, but when he sees at your face, he becomes afflicted. Hmm. So your natural glow of your reddish lips looks like bimba fruit. You delight the great people by cutting the ignorance within them by your mercy. Buddha Manusaya. In this way, my dear Lord, human intelligence cannot penetrate the fathomless ocean of your transcendental pastimes. But one can easily attain your lotus feet by following in the footsteps of pure devotees. So the words of lotus-born Brahma, the blue-throated Mahadev, who is called Nilkant, other demigods, they're always ornamented with a description of your transcendental qualities. That means they always glorify your transcendental qualities. While your effulgence alone displays complete and unlimited power, you personally perform various playful pastimes. Strand of jewel necklaces, they adorn your broad chest. Your lotus feet are so beautiful that they deride the purity of land lotuses also. Bhukamal. Hmm. So although you appear in various forms in four yogas, you have unlimited names, unlimited forms, as there are unlimited stars in the sky. Similarly, you also have unlimited names and forms. When you appear as in your white incarnation as Hansa, your glorious deeds are pure and faultless. O my Lord, the Lord of three worlds, people who say this is mine, you fulfill their desires also. These are all materialistic people. So we offer our respectful obeisances unto you because in this entire creation, nobody can be compared to you. You are one without second. Ah. You are the one who is not bewildered by illusory energy. So, O enchanter of all the minds, you astonish everyone with your matchless ability to do impossible. So, O bliss personified, O darling of Nanda Maharaj, O crest jewel among all the immortals, in these pleasure grooves of Vrindavan, you perform such super excellent pastimes. Like Lord is called Uttam Slok. So they say that using the choicest Sanskrit slokas, the best of the sages try to praise you, still they fail. They can't fully praise you. You exist simultaneously as Brahmajyoti, the formless bliss. At the same time, you are also present as the bliss personified. Both the forms are there. Uh, so in this way, as a bliss personified, you look to be in a gross form. As Brahmajyoti, you look like to be in subtle form. But through both these features, you exist everywhere. You exhilarate your humble servants and the realized souls. An incessant stream of consciousness flows from your lotus feet like Mandakini Ganga. So please give us shelter at your too sweet lotus feet, which destroys all the attachment to this world. So, O friend of distressed, we have no desire other than the desire to touch the pollen dust of lotus feet. We don't want anything. So we were demigods, we don't want that position also. We just want our lotus feet. And earlier we were thinking Narada had cursed us, but now we understand no. He gave us the greatest boon. So we have realized that association with sadhus who yearn for a service always gives good results. Although it may be curse, but curse turns into a boon. So may our words perpetually glorify you. That is what we want. That means, please give us a benediction so that we can always do kirtan of your leelas. May our minds be always fixed at your lotus feet. May our ears be constantly absorbed in hearing your teachings. We don't want any other boon. And let all our senses be engaged in pleasing you. So please bless us that we can relish the nectar of your loving service. We don't want anything else. So Narada Muni, that saintly honeybee who always drinks the nectar of your lotus feet, has released these rain clouds of mercy upon us in the form of this apparent curse. So you are the one who displays attractive pastimes in thousands of universes and allow fallen souls like us to see them. So, my dear Lord, who can describe the immense fortune of Mother Yashoda, who could bind you in the grinding mortar? Even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, all the exalted sages in the universe do not possess even the fraction of grain of the good fortune which Yashoda has. Nemam virincho na bhavo na api ang sansaya prasadham lebere gopi yattat prapya vimukti dad. This particular verse is called the Paribhasa Sutra of Vatsal Ras. So, name virancho, neither Brahma, na bhavo, neither nor Shiva. So, none of these, they have the good fortune, a drop of the good fortune, which prasadham lebere gopi. This ordinary gopi, Mother Yashoda has. Chetat prapya vimukti dat. So one who gives mukti to everyone, she has that Krishna as her own son. So my dear Lord, you are omnipotent one. Even the greatest of Gyanis, Vedantists, Yogis, they just can't understand you. At the same time, you avail yourself to the Premi Bhaktas. Those Premi Bhaktas who have intent of hearing your transcendental pastimes. So in this way, one who has desire to hear Hari Katha, Krishna is available to them. Oh Lord, we want to become completely attached to your lotus feet. So we beg you, please reveal within our hearts the right prayer to attain it. So we don't know how to ask for all these things. You give us the right prayer so that we can ask these things, so that we can get all these things. Show us how to live righteously by accepting the result of our good and bad karma. So whatever comes our good and bad karma, teach us how to accept them. But let us be just absorbed in Hari Katha, Hari Nam, Hari Seva now. We don't want anything else. So in this way, these two demigods, they proceeded northwards and then they disappeared. And by this time, this Arjuna trees had crashed to the ground, which has made such terrible sound. So immediately all the gopis, including the four elephants of four directions who hold the Bhumandal, they felt as if they are deafened. So Vrajavasis were very fearful by hearing this sound. So earlier, Yasoda and all the gopis and all the Vrajavasis were very blissful because they were relishing Krishna's pastimes. But this bliss suddenly disappeared. And they start feeling that there is some calamity which has come. So they left their duties, they rushed to the place. And when they came there, they saw these huge fallen trees, and it was looking as if Mother Earth is offering dandavats to Krishna. These split open trees were looking like gaping mouths of lower planetary systems. Uh, and its two branches were looking like huge snakes which were rising up and desiring to go in different directions. These two trees were looking like dead bodies of demons Madhu and Ketap, which were thrown to the ground by Lord himself. So when Vrajavasis found Krishna, they were fearful. No, what would have happened to Krishna? Such huge trees have fallen down. He was calm, fearless, free from any danger. Uh, so although he is just a child, he was looking like a priceless jewel on Mother Earth. But he was very cool. And then Vrajavasis were thinking, my God, what is this? How have these Arjuna trees suddenly fallen down and pushed down by the wind? And they are so powerful, they could have had crushed and killed Krishna immediately. But just see, Krishna is peacefully standing there, looking as fresh like a newly formed rain cloud. It is definitely our good fortune that nothing has happened to Krishna. So for a long time, these two trees have stood here troubling others. Now, maybe because of the old age, the roots must have rotten. And that's why they have become toppled by their own weight. So they are thinking like that. But then when they went very close, thought, no, 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 no. Roots don't look rotten. Huh? At the same time, the branches, leaves, they all are fresh. They're hard. They were analyzing what was the reason for these trees to fall down. And uh, while thinking of that, when Nanda Maharaj saw that Krishna is safe, his face beamed with transcendental delight. At least Krishna is safe. And Krishna was also, his mind was also dancing in jubilation because he had recently done such a miracle and he has delivered these two demigods. And when Nanda Maharaj saw that Krishna is bound, immediately he untied the rope, took Krishna, placed on his lap, uh, and then he started scolding Yashoda. Nandarani, you have made a big mistake today. But suddenly, Nanda Maharaj remembered the prophecy of Garg Muni that your son will be equal to Narayan. Uh, and then he thought, maybe my son has done these things. Then all the Brajavasis, they asked from Gopas, because Gopas were there near Krishna. They said, what happened? And Gopas said, just see what Krishna has done. Our spotless hero Krishna, he has done what is impossible. She was very fearful of Yashoda. She dragged the motor over here, this place. Motor got stuck between the two trees. And then he just uprooted them. And Rajvai saying, kya bakwas kar rahe, no nonsense. So they thought, no, these children are just innocent, they're talking some nonsense. Then somehow they took some articles like rice, argya, durva, and they worshipped Krishna to remove all the inauspicious things. Hmm. Nanda Maharaj worshipped Krishna. And then Nanda Maharaj brought back Krishna accompanied by musicians. Mother Yashoda was feeling very, again, she was lamenting, I'm not a good mother, how could I leave Krishna in such an unsafe position? Hmm. So in this way, uh, this particular Damodar Leela happened. Radha Damodar ki jai. Now we'll continue with other pastimes. So one day, Krishna, Balram, all the Gopas, they were wandering in the forest, and they start playing. Krishna was again, as usual, looking very beautiful, like a freshly formed rain cloud. And for hours and hours, they were playing different sports, whatever is visible and not visible in this world. But then Yasoda and Rohini, they thought that Krishna and Balram have been playing since hours. They have not eaten sufficient food. They should come back. So Rohini was sent. So Rohini is a reservoir of unlimited piety and qualities. So she ran out of the house to call Krishna Balram. You can see in the slide. So seeing these boys, Krishna Balram from a distance, she started calling out, "Oh Krishna, oh Balram, have you forgotten to come home? Hmm? Due to your absorption in playing? Just see, you're perspiring like anything. So you must be very tired of playing. Come home." And Krishna Balram, they were not even looking at Rohini. And then she said, "Now stop playing, come along with you, along with Balram." She told to Krishna. "Take bath, dress properly, and eat." But Krishna and Balram just ignored Rohini. They didn't even like pay heed to what she was speaking. And they were just playing and playing and playing. And Rohini was calling them, and she felt very frustrated. So she just returned home. And then Yasoda told, "I will only go." So then she directly caught Baldev. She said, "Baldev, Nanda Maharaj is starving because you have not returned to eat. So immediately hurry, come back." Uh, So this is Yasoda. See the slide. Calling Krishna Balram. And then Yasoda addressed Krishna, "Oh darling son, anyway today is your birthday. So you have to bathe with auspicious articles. Uh, you have to receive the blessings of the Brahmanas, who are like demigods in this world. And your father has brought opulent clothes for you. You have to be nicely dressed. So come to home, take your meals with your mother and father and all the assembled Brahmanas." And then Yasoda walked like a royal elephant. She caught the hand of Krishna and she brought Krishna. So Balram was there in the front, and all the boys, they went back to their homes. So of course Krishna, Prabhupada in his Krishna book, yes. Even in the purport of Bhagavatam, he writes, this shows that Yasoda had more love for Krishna. Because as far as when Rohini went, they didn't pay any heed. But Yasoda, she brought Krishna and Balram. So Yasoda could not tolerate Krishna all day plying without eating. And in this way, uh, like all mothers love their children, Yasoda also stopped the play of Krishna and Balram so that they can eat nicely. And then because this was the day of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, so you can look at the slide. That Yasoda massaged him with oil, bathed him, dressed him, anointed his transcendental body with fragrant oil. And then Yasoda brought Krishna uh, before Nanda Maharaj. So in this way, Krishna, so you can see all this in the slides. And now Nanda Maharaj happily picked up the boys who responded with sweet smiles. And then he sat down along with Krishna Balram to take his meals. At the same time, Yashoda's servants also bathed and dressed all of Krishna's friends. So they also became very ready. And after feeding everyone, Yashoda instructed all other Gopas before sending them homes. So they were also fed nicely. And then Yashoda told to all the Gopas, now you can play, but don't keep on playing with my restless son so that he doesn't eat in time. So when there's time for eating, stop your play and return to your homes. You also eat nicely. Allow Krishna also to take his meals. And then out of love for his friends, Krishna walked with them for a short distance and then bade them farewell. So they all of them returned to their houses. So this is how Janmashtami was celebrated in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Okay. And then suddenly one day, so one fruit vendor lady, who are generally considered aborigines, but she was very well versed with the moral laws. So she stood outside Nanda Maharaj's gate to sell some fruits. So in her fruit basket. So when she was calling for the customers, Krishna came to see outside. And when this fruit vendor lady saw two lotus feet of Krishna, which were looking like pink land lotuses, she was mesmerized. And Krishna saw, oh, fruits have come. Immediately he went inside, he brought some food grains, and he made a cup like that from his hands. But then the grains were going down. They were moving off from his hands. And by the time he went to this fruit vendor lady, most of the grains had fallen down. But this lady was mesmerized by seeing Krishna, and especially the sound which was coming from jingling of Krishna's golden ankle bells. So she was so absorbed in experiencing this beautiful Krishna, whose color was like a beautiful rain cloud, who was looking like personified stream of bliss, that this lady immediately took the handful of fruits and gave to Krishna. And Krishna happily took all the fruits and he went away. And then she thought, okay, let me go to other place. And when she was trying to lift her basket, she saw that her basket had magically transformed into basket filled with costly gems and jewels. So that is how when somebody selflessly serves Krishna, automatically he gets the results, all the results. Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavatam Uddhav Gita also, that my devotee is not bereft of any result obtained from karma, jnana, yoga, etc. He gets whatever he wants. So that is how she got more than she desired. So this is how pastimes were going in Gokul Mahavan. But one day, by inspiration of Krishna, who is seated in everyone's heart, all the cowherd men, Upananda, Sananda, all these people, they had a meeting with Nanda Maharaj. You can see this meeting with Nanda Maharaj on the slide. So they were meeting and they spoke what was there in their heart. So they said, my dear Nanda Maharaj, you are king of Vrindavan, and we can't understand the extent of your opulence. Rather, we have never seen a person more fortunate than you. You are the greatest among all the men. How? Because your son delivers everyone from distress and lamentation. But somehow, since the time of his appearance, so many sad and painful things have happened in Vrindavan. Like this Rakshasini Putana came and she brought the devastation to the entire village. Then Saktasur came. He brought severe distress to all of us. Then the Trinavart came, who tortured everyone. And now you have seen this. What has happened? These Arjuna trees had almost fallen down and tried to destroy Krishna only. So we wanted to know the cause of these bizarre events. So everybody experienced that you had a good fortune from Krishna's birth. And we also personally know that your family dynasty has performed always auspicious activities only. Uh, and because of that, Krishna has appeared as your son. So we can guess that these difficulties have come not because of your son or yourself. It has maybe come because of this place, the problem of the place. Sometimes places are inauspicious, and that's why difficulties are there in that place. So we were planning maybe next year we should leave this place and we should go to Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is full of good qualities. And Vrindavan is always pleasing throughout all the seasons of the year. Vrindavan is always replete with luxuriant grasses to please the crows. Not only that, but it is said that for one who attains Vrindavan, the wealth of three worlds look insignificant like the piece of straw. Sayatra Indra Saswadatrehi. Goddess of fortune always resides personally in Vrindavan and serves all the residents there. And not just that, there's Govardhan in that place of Vrindavan. So Govardhan, one who increases the health of the cows. So Govardhan is standing there. So if you approve this proposal, then kindly allow us to move to Vrindavan. And then Nanda Maharaj, whose consciousness is totally pure, he replied to the Gopas. He said, see, Gopas, as far as I am personally concerned, I am very attached to this Mahavan, Gokul Mahavan. But if you find defects here, for the sake of all of you, we will give up this place and we'll move to Vrindavan. And when Gopas heard that, their hearts were filled with joy that Nanda Maharaj has finally accepted our proposal. So then, in great excitement, they ordered their families to prepare bullock carts for the journey. So that you can see in the next slide. They all are preparing for the journey. So then there were a group of carts fully loaded with all the paraphernalia of the houses. And in this way, all these bullock carts were looking very, very beautiful. So keeping the cows in front, all these devotees, they lined up the carts in preparation to leave. So matured bull elephants, they have four tusks. Similarly, these bullocks also had different teeth depending on their ages. So young bullocks, they had four teeth, and elder bullocks had 9 teeth. They had up to 9 teeth. The bullocks had gold-plated horns on the top, which were looking like peaks of Mount Sumeru. The rounded and nicely shaped jawbones of the bullocks were looking very attractive. And as a music teacher dances very in a very dexterous steps. Bullocks were also moving with great grace. As there are 4 parts of the poem, each of these bullocks had 4 legs. And Nanda Maharaj had 9 lakh cows in his herd. The restless natures of the bullocks indicated the depth of their intelligence. So, although they were yoked to the cart, but the rope was not tied to their nose. Generally, we tied them to nose, but so these ropes are tied to the nose because bullocks are very aggressive many times. They don't listen. So you have to make them feel that you have to go right and left, and that's why they follow the order. So when there is some tight rope on the right side, loosen the left side, bullocks think we have to move right. We want to move right, not the farmer. We give this example for ahankar vimud atma kartamiti manate. Person feels that no, I want to go right. But then Vrindavan bullocks are not like that. So their ropes were not tied to the noses. At the same time, they had attractive necklaces of sweet sounding bells on their necks. As far as carts are concerned, carts had multicolored canopies on the top. Each of these canopies had different designs. They had different colors like green, brick red, yellow, white, red, pale yellow. Colorful curtains of costly jute covered their sides. Flags fluttered above the golden dome at the top of the carts. The flags at the top of the carts were wonderfully designed, and there they were looking like big tongues made of the rays of the sun. So when these carts were moving, they were looking more beautiful than the flower airplanes made of the demigods. Rather, they were looking like new standards of excellence among conveyances. As there is no fault in being attached to sadhus, similarly, carts were faultless in their construction and they were beautiful to behold. They were looking very beautiful. As devotees become beautiful by engaging in Krishna service, similarly, chakras on the top of the carts were looking very beautiful like chakravaka birds floating in the lake. As sons of Kovera are attached to residing in the capital city of Alkapuri, similarly, these wood yokes were attached to the carts. Carts had many pots made up of gold, silver, brass, bell metal, copper, etc. And when these carts were moving from Mahavan, Gokul Mahavan to Vrindavan, the long line of cows and bullocks were looking like separate branch of Yamuna river. And when somebody would look at them from a distance, it appeared as if long line of moving cows was standing still because so many cows were there. So when some people start looking at this scene from a distance, they thought maybe Ganga has appeared here to privately speak with Yamuna. Cows were looking like the Ganga from a distance. Some people thought, or maybe unlimited waves from the milk ocean has come here to take the dust of Vrindavan. Or maybe Ananta says has renounced the service of Narayan and he has come to see this Vrindavan. Or maybe the expanded hood of the kings of snakes is visible here. Some people say, no, 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 no. It is looking like the necklace of pearls which is decorating Mother Earth. So in this way, long line of carts topped with glittering golden domes and multicolored flags flapping in the wind was looking like uh, tall golden doors surrounding a city palace. They were looking so tall, hmm, that they were looking like small mountain range, which is offspring of Kailas or Sumeru or Himalaya, who has come to play with Yamuna. When these carts are moving, there are furrows left in the earth by the wheels, and these were looking like the walls of raised castle, which has no support. So when long before, Mother Bhumi took the form of a cow to beg Krishna to remove the distress caused by the demonic kings. So now it looked that Earth has again appeared in the form of a cloud of dust. Because when carts were moving, the cloud of dust was there in the sky. It seemed that this dust will move and reach Brahmaloka. It was moving so much high. So in this way, people who are viewing this long line of bullock carts were amazed to see how it was moving towards Vrindavan. So simultaneously, so many cowherd men, they were like shouting orders to different people. Keep these things here, keep things there, keep on the side, take care of the bulls. And all these words, they mixed together and nobody was able to discern what was going on. So what people could see, the hand gestures. And in this way, they were communicating through these hand gestures. So the combined vibrations of carts, people, drums, belling of the cows, so they all were mixed together and they were making a lot of sound. And in the cart, you can see in the next slide. Yeah. So this cart of Nanda Maharaj. So both in the cart, Yashoda and Rohini were looking like two valuable jewels. Cart itself was looking like a mountain cave, enacting a pastime of displaying its storehouse of costly jewels in the form of these two lovely ladies. And their sons, Krishna and Balram, they are looking like embodiments of benediction for the three worlds. So they were sitting in the lap of their mothers. Balram was sitting in the lap of Rohini, Krishna was sitting in the lap of Yashoda. And both these mothers were glorifying Krishna from Krishna. But when somebody looked from a distance, it was looking as if they're quarreling among themselves. These cards, at the same time, what was happening is uh, when Krishna was looking at different things, out of curiosity, he was asking Yashoda, Maya, Maya, just see what is that? Maya, Maya, just see what is that? So he was asking about various trees or birds, and Yashoda was like giving all the answers. Hundreds of armed guards, they were around the carts to protect the uh, cowherd men, cowherd community. So it was looking as if the entire wealth of Mahavan has left Mahavan and now it is going to touch the sky. It was looking like goddess of city has led the way to beautify the journey. And what was left in Mahavan was only land, nothing else. They took everything. So before they could reach, Nand Maharaj had gone in advance party and seen, they made all the arrangements, or they decided, no, we'll put stand here and this and that. So they returned from Vrindavan and they joined the procession. And now because it was evening time, almost sunset time, and they had to cross Yamuna. So then what happened is, on the order of Nanda Maharaj, they erected their tents and prepared for the night near Yamuna, which you can see here in this slide. So they prepared the tent near Yamuna. And all these tents were like different. And when we move kaleidoscope, there are different colors. So these tents had different colors, which was decorating all the different directions. The cowherd men, they expertly erected all the walls made of cloths to surround that city, which was made temporarily of tents. So like in an ordinary city, there are four pathways. Similarly, there are pathways here also. And within that time only, that limited amount of time, they made footpaths. They made marketplaces. And all these beautiful white cows were looking like soothing moon rays or a small lake of milk. As more and more cows sat among that lake, they were looking like the ocean of milk was expanding because more cows were sitting there. And Sunanda, Upananda, other relatives, they sat together in Nanda Maharaj's tent and they started conversing with each other. And after the conversation was over, they went to their own tents. And meanwhile, whatever was necessary for the arrangements, they took those items from the cart, they unyoked the bulls, the caretakers fed the bulls because they had to take next journey also. And then they took some rest there. Some servants, they started buying and selling there only. Milk, yogurt, etc. Some helpers, they cleaned the kitchens which were temporarily made and they prepared for cooking. So in this way, the evening time came. So 12 hours, sun was moving across the sky, and now he met his wife in the westerly direction. The birds were chirping excitedly. They soared through the sky, and now in the night time they started moving towards their nest. All the peacocks who was moving here and there, meow, meow. So they went to the treetops. Deers who were frolicking whole day, they felt very tired, and they were lazily walking along the source of Yamuna. Intoxicated honeybees, so they were so intoxicated in the lotuses that they were trapped inside the lotus flowers now. And as woman conceals herself before running for a lover, nobody should look at her. Similarly, the presiding demigoddesses or the directions, they had covered their faces with the blue veil of darkness. The red and white lotuses which bloom in the night time, they opened up like blissful smiles. Chakrakaka birds, they were wailing piteously for their lovers. And now, as the sun was receding, people were not able to distinguish the forms of men and cows. They were looking alike. So because of this dim light from the twinkling stars, the shadows of the cows were appearing very fat and short. Shadows of the men were looking long and tall. And as the starlight increased, humans were looking larger and larger in size. Just as charitable person distributes his wealth in compassion, similarly, Many lamps were lit by this time, and they were lighting all the directions. The guards were guarding the roads. Hmm. Jagte raho, jagte raho. They were moving here and there. And the natural beauty of evening was appearing like goddess who was ready to serve Krishna. So satisfied by their eating, all the cows who were standing nearby cows were very peaceful. And cow herd male started milking them. And the milking of the cows made such a tremendous sound. It was looking as if the churning of ocean of milk is going on. Hmm. And Krishna, he derived great pleasure from hearing the beautiful, sweet, deep sounds. The Gopas were loudly calling the names of the cows. Hey Dhavali, hey Savali. And cows were responding, oh, ma, ma. They were making sound. All these men were caressing the cows as they gathered around. And after taking the evening meals, Brajavasis relaxed themselves and they were happily wandering in the campsite, moving here and there. And all these guards were saying, Jagte raho, jagte raho. They were moving here and there. After some time, when they felt that things were nicely done, they were peacefully taking rest. And 3 hours before sunrise, the Gopas woke up. They bathed themselves, dressed themselves in clean clothes. They performed Vastu Puja, which generally Grasthas would do in Vedic days. And then churning of the butter by the gopis started. So they are churning the butter and they start singing beautiful songs glorifying Krishna. The sound of the jeweled bangles of the gopis and the ankle bells, which were moving by this time, made deep melodious sound which joined the sound coming from the large churning pots. And these auspicious vibrations, they removed all the misfortune from the universe. And directions are also giving the echoes of these sounds. And even demigoddesses came. They woke up to see the things which were going on in Vrindavan. And they were seeing and hearing how gopis are churning the butter. So the sun rose, then all the Vrajavasis, they prepared to cross Yamuna. Hmm. So, who is known as daughter of sun god. So, on the order of Nanda Maharaj, the Gopas called the cows. Hmm. So they said, hey, Dhavali, hey, Savali, and they were going, ma, ma, they were making sounds, and they were entering the waters one by one. Many cows, they just uh, exhaled strong breaths in air, and they swam across the uh, waters. And the heavy water-soaked tails of cows hung motionless in the water, but their heads and their humps were above the water. So in this way, they're flowing through the currents and they finally reach the opposite shore of Yamuna. But the hornless, light-bodied calves, they couldn't swim. So some of them could swim, and some of them were carried by the, uh, especially the newborn ones, were carried by the gopas on their necks. So they were carrying the cows on their necks. And the cows were following them, crying anxiously. So the tall humps of mature bulls, they were creating waves in the Yamuna as they were moving around. And bulls were again and again turning their backs behind here and there. Uh, they were like fighting with with the waves of Yamuna. So despite strong currents, the bulls had their head high and straight, and they were breathing very heavily, and they were crossing Yamuna. And all the innumerable cows, They made their safe landing across Yamuna. But now they were looking very exhausted from the journey as they stood in the rows and sandy banks of Yamuna, which were looking like white sands made of white camphor dust. So the groups of white cows beside the Yamuna were looking as attractive as river. Mm. And then about boats. So there is a next slide about the boats. You can see at the boats also. Because Vrajavasis had to go in the boats. Their luggage had to go in the boats. So the boats which are plying on the water looked like Nagpatnis rising up from the Patal Loka to playfully extend their jewel-bedecked hoods. So it was looking as if because Vrajavasis are going to come to Vrindavan, Vishwakarma had personally made all these arrangements to make them happy by making such beautiful boats. So the beautiful clear sky looked like stream of Ganga meeting Yamuna, and different aquatics were sporting in Yamuna. So highly decorated golden boats, which exhibited epitome of artistic craftsmanship, cruised across Yamuna. And the best among those boats had an ornamental cabin topped with the beautiful flags. There were flags on the top of the boats. Krishna, Yashoda, Rohini, their maid servants, all the gopis, they boarded the boat. And Krishna enjoyed watching the rows of small waves in Yamuna. Hmm. And effulgence of Krishna, it enhanced the beauty of Yamuna also. Krishna was looking like a small gem in Yamuna. So Krishna got up from Yashoda's lap and he leaned over the edge of the boat. And what he did is, with his left hand, which he stretched his left hand, and with his right hand, he was trying to touch the bottom of the boat. And then Yashoda and Rohini were worried. Maybe there may be some crocodile or some dangerous animals there. So they became worried. So they stopped Krishna from his frivolous play. And then Nanda Maharaj also came in the same boat. So he quickly picked up Krishna, kept on his lap, so that he doesn't do any more mischief. And then the boatman continued rowing across the Yamuna. And then that is how they happily crossed the Yamuna. Similarly, other Gopas with their families also, they boarded other boats. They all happily crossed Yamuna. After giving the ferry to all the boatmen, they used boarding platforms to load all the bullock carts and cross the river again. And in this way, Nanda Maharaj satisfied all the boatmen with clothes, jewels, etc. And that is how they shifted to Vrindavan. Shifted to Vrindavan. And now we'll, in our next class, we'll discuss about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. So till now they were in Mahavan, and now they will be going to Vrindavan. Hari Hari. So again, we have some time. So maybe what we can do. Yes, Soumya tu has a question.
Generally, what happens is we are like, listening to these pastimes of Krishna, and especially those childhood pastimes with Mother Yashoda. So we might sometimes start taking it very lightly, considering it to be ordinary. So when we are listening to these pastimes and studying Ananda and Champu, how do we maintain the balance of maintaining the respect and as well as relishing? Because sometimes when we start relishing it, so we might take it little lightly. And but when we start thinking about uh, about the principle of Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead, so we might not be able to fully relish the pastimes. So how do we balance it?
You're already balancing it with Bhakti Vaibhav class. So you're attending a Bhakti Vaibhav class that talks about greatness of Krishna. And in Vrindavan Champu, we are experiencing the sweetness of Krishna. See, it's like when we see a contrast that increases the sweetness. So certainly Krishna himself is very charming and sweet, but on the level of sadhaka, we realize the pastimes when we see that contrast. It's like ordinary servant in a shop of a cloth shop. Now he may be cutting so many clothes so many times, and nobody pays any heed to it. But when some big man he goes and he's inaugurating a building and he cuts a ribbon, it's like no, so many people say, "Oh, ribbon is cut," and then they clap their hands, and there are photographs and people's faces they beam with smile. So then we feel it is so great. So similarly, Krishna being so great when he's behaving like ignorant small child, that is what attracts him. So that's what attracts him. So we have to balance with understanding of greatness of Krishna also. But even if we get absorbed in this Vrija Leela and we are experiencing sweetness, we should not be so much worried also. It's like when we're taking prasadam, okay, before prasadam, we contemplate on the meaning of Mahaprasada Govinde and this and that. But when we are tasting some, let us say, Gulab Jamun Mahaprasad, now we don't analyze, oh, I should not enjoy sense gratification and I should only enjoy the saliva of Krishna in this. Oh, we can just relish it. So there's no harm in relishing the mercy of the Lord. So in a long run, we can, if we remember the greatness of Krishna, it can be balanced. But when we are relishing, we should just relish. We don't have to worry so much. Yeah. Yes. Sankari Kaur Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my respectful obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. My pranams to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, all glories to Srila. Another nectarian class, Prabhu, but two things. I have a question, and I just wanted to share a little katha that I heard at Durban Temple. This was quite a few years ago. I don't quite recall the name of Maharaj, but he was talking about this stick in Yashoda Maiya's hand. And he was saying that that stick was lying in Yashoda's courtyard for a very long time, and every day that stick would really pray that while running, Krishna just steps over me and give me the blessing of his touch. But that day didn't come. But then today was the day when Yashoda Maya picked up that stake and she threatened Krishna that she's going to beat him. So the stake almost came very close to the point where he was about to touch the blissful body of Krishna. But at that point in time, the stick is saying, no, I don't want to touch the body of Krishna like that, where I gives him a pain. I don't want it. Rather, Yashoda Maya should just drop me right now. I don't want to touch Krishna ever. I would never want his touch, but not this way. So it was such a beautiful narration. I just thought I'll share. And
I
then
think he may be Brahat Bhaktamrit Maharaj. He's the one.
probably
He's the one who has discussed this Leela in detail. That how ropes also are there because there are persons in Vrindavan. So all
yes,
the ropes had a desire to touch Krishna now. So in this way, all the ropes of Vrindavan were tied to Krishna's body. So
yes.
actually, really speaking, Damodar Leela can be spoken for 6-7 hours also. But somehow we are limited by time. So we have to complete it in time.
Yes, true. And then when we were reading through the prayers of Nalkuver and Manigriva, it seemed like Kavi Karnpur had completely gotten lost in that whole feeling. Looks like these are his own prayers. He's going on and on and on with the prayers. I mean, the other Leelas, our pastimes are so short, but this one he just went on and on. Even the bartering of fruits, we see just a small 2 paragraphs. That's it. But when it comes to the prayers of Nalkuver and Manigriv, he's just going on, and how they are praying that please bless us, Krishna, so that we can continue to chant your glories all the time and hear your glories all the time. So when they go to spiritual world, they become uh, Snigdakanta and Madhukanta. So that was very, very beautiful. Prabhu, thank you for giving these classes. It's just so nectarian. Prabhu, one question. This was the night when the residents of Mahavan, right now, they are still not the residents of Vrindavan, um, that serpent comes and swallows Nand Maharaj or
No, no, no.
tries to swallow Nand
Yeah.
Maharaj and then,
No, no.
okay.
It
This
comes
is not
later
the,
on actually. That is the time when they were about to visit some Lord Shiva's temple.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's later on actually, not now.
Oh, yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Rukmini Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, that first Leela which we discussed today, and in that, like Mother Yashoda, when she kept Krishna down to save milk, that was also for Krishna's pleasure. Right? And then Krishna became very angry with that. So, like, how Acharyas explain this Leela, like, why that was also to serve. So, as a devotee, that was also to serve for Krishna's pleasure. This was also Krishna's pleasure. So, how this is like explained by Acharyas, that why Krishna became so angry.
So one of the explanations given by Acharyas, see one of the explanation is that they defend Yashoda. That ultimately Yashoda had an intent to please Krishna. Another explanation which is given by some of the Acharyas, which I read long before, was that personal attention to Krishna should be given the preference. So there may be like many services for Krishna, but at that moment Krishna wanted exclusive attention on Yashoda. So Yashoda had given that exclusive attention to Krishna, and Krishna was like upset about it. So okay, that's also my service, but what I want you now. I don't want that service to be fulfilled. So that is why Krishna became angry.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Another reason given by Acharyas is also that this was all orchestrated so that sweetness of this Leela can come out. So that's also another reason.
Okay.
Hari.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Is Braj Leela, Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari,
So, Prabhuji, is there any inner reason why Brajvasis relocated to Vrindavan from Mahavan? Any inner desire of Krishna that was being fulfilled here?
See, Krishna wanted to enjoy, and if you see, as we were discussing, Krishna has like 3 ages. His Bali Leela is there, Poganda Leela is there, and Kesar Leela is there. So in Bali Leela, he enjoys Vatsal Ras, the love of elderly Gopas and Gopis, Yashodananda Maharaj. Then the Poganda Leela comes, where Krishna enjoys playing with his friends. And if you want to enjoy playing with your friend, there has to be a nice playground. And the best playground for them is Govardhan. Yes. So he wanted to get the best place for that. And then later on we find that, and then when Krishna enters Kesar Leela, so then the prominent rasa is Madhur Ras, not Sakras. So that time he moves to Nandagaon. So from Nandagaon, from far off, you can see Barsana is there. And Raval also comes nearby. So that is how, that is befitting Krishna's Madhur Leela. So that is how that Krishna shifted to different places to enjoy different rasas. Okay, Leela Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. But would they again visit back to this Mahavan sometimes at least? Because I feel like Mahavan will be in so much separation now from Krishna.
Hopefully you don't have connection with Mahavan. Yeah. See, actually, now as far as all these places are concerned, they're eternal. And from a spiritual point of view, if we see, then Krishna is always performing his eternal leelas there. So even when Krishna left Vrindavan, he never left Vrindavan. Vrindavan parityajya padam egam na gachati. He never leaves a step outside Vrindavan. So whether it is Mahavan or it may be devotees in Mahavan, or it may be birds and plants in Mahavan. So either they are seeing Krishna's manifest Leela or unmanifest Leela. So when we are absorbed in something, we are then in that thing. So in that sense, there's no problem. And even if there's feeling separation, that separation is considered greater than the meeting. So that's considered greater than meeting. So in that sense, there is nothing wrong in that. I
Right,
hope
Prabhuji.
my words could have pacified you to some extent.
Yes, Prabhuji, makes sense. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Asutosh bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Just a little extension to what we were discussing before, the milk in the pot boiling and Mata Yashoda's attention towards the milk. This is what I've heard also, one of the, um, I believe, resonations that probably that's how the human senses are. Sometimes we are in Krishna consciousness, we are contemplating on God, but then we also start looking at the things that are going around. So that's when the real trouble starts.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do understand the relevance that in Vrindavan, everyone is beyond Maya, the illusionary or the inferior energy of Krishna.
And this can
So
be taken as one of the lessons from the past time.
lessons, yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for sharing.
Great, Prabhu. That's awesome.
So we are,
That-
yes, Krishnagna Mataji has something to say.
No, Prabhu, I was just admiring the comments. Very nice. Very well said. And also the questions asked were awesome.
Hare Hare. So we, of course, we don't have much time to discuss, but maybe we can just divide the task. So group number 1, they can prepare similar thing for Damodar Leela. So that's for group number 1.
I think nice.
Okay, group number 2 also had a lot of pastimes. So group number 2 can prepare Krishna's childhood pastimes. So there are so many pastimes, Krishna's childhood pastimes. Krishna's pastime of stealing butter, Krishna's pastime of playing in village, eating clay. And group number 3 can prepare name giving ceremony and or bartering of the fruits for the fruits of that lady, the lunch at the home, and moving to Vrindavan. The great description of how they moved from Vrindavan to Vrindavan. So I'll repeat again. Group number 1, Damodar Leela. Group number 2, childhood pastimes of Krishna. And group number 3, name giving ceremony, bartering for fruits, lunch at home, and moving to Vrindavan. So we can prepare and then we can come in our next class. So I think already you had some.
All four we have to prepare.
See, all or I would say or and. So either you can prepare one of them or you can prepare all 4 of them. So depending on you have a choice. Okay, so now we don't have time to maybe divide the groups, but I think already devotees they have their subgroups. They know how to discuss among themselves. And we are eagerly waiting for the presentations in the next class. We are a little upset with Palas Prabhu that he has not shared his PPT till now. Such a beautiful PPT. We are waiting for that.
I'll share just now. Sorry,
So
bro.
whatever you present here, share in the group also.
Sure. I actually forget. Sorry, bro.
Hari. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sri Anand Vrindavan Champu ki jai. नंदन मोर मुकुट वंशी वाले कृष्ण भगवान की जय, कवि कर्णपुर की जय, शिल्पोपात की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल, वांछाकल्पतरु
हरि हरि
वैष्णव
बोल।
सब पतितनां पावने वैष्णव नमो नमः। शिल्पोपात की जय।
जय।